As people age, long-term care is probably the greatest threat to a person's life savings. So many people are always asking in my line of work, what are the options for long-term care? And how do we pay for those options? This is the essence of elder law, whether it's planning years in advance with estate planning and legal tools to have the ability to prepare for long-term care, or whether it's a more sudden need with a health event and having to arrange for health care at maybe the highest level in a hurry. So my name is Patrick Cawley. I am an attorney with Keystone Elder Law in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I want to just break down the three levels of care and how you pay for them. And which level of care is appropriate for a person will depend on a range of factors, including any medical diagnosis that the person has, limitations on their physical mobility, their ability to get around, maybe cognitive impairment from dementia or from a stroke or Parkinson's or even medication-related confusion, and factors like this. So finding the right level of care is step one so that the older loved one of yours is taken care of, but also finding a way to pay for it is quickly the next question to be answered. So at the lowest level of care, we're talking about home care. And there are many home care agencies that will send caregivers into the home to help your loved one get out of bed, get dressed, remember to take medication, maybe light housekeeping or even having some basic meals prepared for the person. So this level of care is often privately paid for at a rate of, say, $20 to $30 an hour. Depending on how many hours of help your loved one needs, this might be feasible or it might be very expensive. Long-term care insurance may or may not pay for home care. It really depends on the policy that you have. If you have veterans benefits because you were a wartime veteran and you meet certain financial criteria, that might help at this stage for home care. And of course, everyone wants to stay in their home and not go to a facility if they can stay where all of their memories are and where they're most comfortable. So the lowest level of care is generally privately paid by most people. The next level of care is commonly called assisted living. It's actually more often personal care in Pennsylvania. There is a legal distinction in Pennsylvania, but practically there's no difference. You are living in a facility, so you're not at your home anymore, but it's a facility that doesn't feel like a facility. It doesn't feel as clinical. It feels more like a residence. Some of the benefits are there are always staff people there. So if you have nobody around when you're at home and you need somebody in case you have a fall, in case you need help getting to the bathroom at any time of day, they help you with all of that. Plus the food is prepared for you. You have reminders to take your medication, so on and so forth. So there are professional caregivers there around the clock. This, again, in Pennsylvania is most often paid for out of private funds. Veterans benefits for wartime veterans will apply with certain financial criteria being met. Long-term care insurance will often or almost always pay at this level if you happen to have long-term care insurance. The third and highest level of care is the skilled nursing care level, what people commonly refer to as a nursing home, whereas the middle level of care might run between $4,000 and $7,000 depending on memory care or if there's no memory care and some other factors. The highest level of care, skilled care, usually runs on average about $11,000 a month in Pennsylvania. So if you have long-term care insurance, that will certainly help, but probably won't cover the whole cost. If you have veterans benefits, that will help but won't cover the whole cost. Most people who don't have the kind of cash on hand to pay $11,000 a month rely on Medicaid for long-term care. And Medicaid is a huge program. It covers a lot of different needs. But for people in the middle class who need to cover the cost of long-term care, Medicaid comes to the rescue. That requires some rather complicated legal planning, and I do highly recommend that you consult with an elder law attorney as soon as you think that might be necessary. So whether you have a moment's notice because there was a stroke and somebody goes to the hospital and now needs to go into long-term care to recuperate from the physical and cognitive impairments that might follow, or whether you have plenty of years of warning because there's a diagnosis of early stages of dementia that will probably progress. It's good to make plans because getting eligible for Medicaid means shifting assets around to get them out of the name of the Medicaid applicant because the Medicaid applicant is not permitted to have much in the way of money or property in their name. So if you have follow-up questions about the levels of care, how you pay for that care, send me an email at info@keystoneelderlaw.com or ask a question in the comments, and I'd be happy to follow up with you, and especially if it means we can sit down and go through your family's specific circumstances. Sometimes the fear of the unknown will keep you up at night, but I can explain all of that, find the right level of care for your loved one, and find how to pay for it.